Picking up from where we left off at the end of class, here is the sketch that we did showing the people. I'm going to do a quick little refresher demonstration on doing people, sketching people up. So let's get going. But I want to show you some things before we get there. If you just take a little mat, you can see what kinds of images you get out of these kind of little sketches, these little paintings. And some of them hold up on their own pretty well. But yeah, we'll talk more about that when we talk about composition and other topics in the course. But the more you do with these people, the freer you get and the more confident you get in doing people. To demonstrate the figures, kind of recapturing what we talked about in our first class, I've got 90-pound Arches paper. I've got two different brands of paint in this palette. I've got M-gram on this side. I've got Pearl Red, Quinacridone Nickel, and Payne's Gray. This is all from the M-gram line. And then over here, Daniel Smith Indigo, Quinacridone Gold, and Pearl Scarlet in the Daniel Smith colors. And I just like to paint with those two lines of paints, those two brands of paints. But mostly what we're going to focus on are these grays, using these grays and using these colors as highlights. And I've got, of course, my Steve Griggs watercolor pocket knife to do some scratching out. I'm going to paint with a round brush, and I'm choosing a Princeton Neptune number 12 to start with. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and just grab some of this Graham Payne's Gray, get it wet down to about a heavy cream consistency. I don't know if you can see it's a little bit runny, but not quite milk. It's more heavy cream kind. And I've got dry paper. Spray this side with a little bit of water, so I'll do dry and wet, just to recap that. There we go. So on dry paper, set the head and then squiggle in the body. And actually I'm going to change my body position just a little. Come down and put a leg. There's one. Get a little bit more water, a little bit more pigment. Let's go over to the wet side. I'll do one over there. You see the paint flows a lot better on this side. Get back on the brush, get my thighs and my calves down. Thighs, calves. Get a little bit more of that head going there. And then this is on wet paper, dry paper. So I'll get my brush. I'm going to come over here and grab some of this indigo and get that down to a cream consistency again. Come in. Get that shoulder up there. And I'm going to go find some tissue so I can lift those out and then show you some of the light that we'll get on the figure. I'm just going to lift out some of that. And by doing that, I get some light up on top of the figures. I can change the scale. As long as the heads are in line, I can make this figure a little bit smaller. I can push that figure into the background just by doing that. Come down, get to hips, a couple of thighs, shoot down. I can hit them with water and it'll diffuse that just a little bit. Let's get some quinacridone gold going here. I'll just change up the figure a little bit. So then I can come back in and drop some dark in. Here and get some of that indigo, start working that in. So you can see how you can start varying the colors as you come down the figure. But for practice, just practice with these darker colors. And when we get into paintings, you can adjust the colors on the figures and make them a little bit more interesting when we get there. Put this guy in front of this person. Like that. So anyway, that's what we talked about in class in terms of generating figures, and then you can go back over it with heavier paint later, and you can cut out coats and pant legs and things like that for detail. And there's a study in figures.